Hi guys, I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about why does my body not heal? A lot of people say, yeah, I just don't understand why my body heals. There's a lot of different reasons for it. But one of the things, there's two systems in the body that are important to understand, okay? One is called the autonomic nervous system, which controls all the functions of your body without you having to think about it. Increases your heart rate, digests your food, does all these things, keeps your blood pressure proper. And the other is your endocrine system, which regulates all the hormonal output from your pituitary all the way down to your ovaries, your adrenal glands, all these different areas. Now the thing is, your body is always trying to stay in a homeostatic state. What does that mean? It's in balance. It's always trying to do that. Now, the autonomic nervous system has two parts that help it stay in that balance. One is called the sympathetic, which is for activity, and the other is the parasympathetic, which is for rest and healing. So they're always working the opposite of each other. When one goes up, the other goes down. When the other, it balances out all the time. They both can't be up at the same time. They both have to be balanced like this, okay? Same thing with the endocrine system. When you have certain amounts of hormone with one, there's going to be another hormone that comes into play that pushes it down the other opposite way, okay? Now, why is it not working right? There's certain barriers that mess up the body, okay? One of them is heavy metals. A lot of people say, well, gosh, how do I get heavy metals? Well, there's a lot of different ways you can get heavy metals. A lot of people say, well, you can eat tuna and you can get mercury. But the thing is, a lot of vaccinations have mercury as a preservative in it, and that actually gets into your body. Also, there's amalgams in your teeth that used to be very prominent. They also go into the body. Well, heavy metals are interesting because they have a very, very high affinity for the receptor sites of cells. Like if you've ever heard of carbon monoxide poisoning, your red blood cells have this substance inside called hemoglobin, and oxygen attaches to that. But the thing is, when you breathe in carbon monoxide, it actually displaces the oxygen and locks on to the red blood cell, the hemoglobin, and you cannot breathe. You actually suffocate. Well, the same thing happens with heavy metals in your body. Those heavy metals have a very, very high affinity for this receptor sites, and they displace the normal minerals, making that cell inoperable and not be able to work. So you have to displace those heavy metals. Also, chemicals can do the same thing. So that's another barrier that can mess people up. There's food sensitivities that people have that people don't even know they actually have. Just because it's not causing a digestive problem doesn't mean it can't affect some other organ in the body. There's also immune challenges like funguses, bacteria, viruses, parasites. All can affect the body in an abnormal way so it doesn't work right and knocks out that homeostatic state. The thing is how do you know if it's working properly or not? How do you know if your endocrine system's working right? How do you know if your autonomic nervous system's right? There is a test that we do. It's called a heart rate variability analysis. So I thought I'd explain a little bit about the heart rate variability analysis, okay? This is a graph that you'd see on the test. Of course, it's on a piece of paper, but we're looking at it. So if we were looking at this, okay, this dot would be lying down or supine. And if I put a different dot here, just as a note, a bigger dot, and this is standing up. We know that lying down would be more parasympathetic, and standing up would be more sympathetic. Remember, for activity. So we'd see these two different dots. So if we were looking at it, let's just start with this. The way it should look is like this. If a person, it would be in this quadrant because there's positive numbers on both. Okay, remember the parasympathetic is for healing, so you'd want to be healing. You want to have higher numbers. So here you are lying down, and then when you stand up, it should go up on the sympathetic scale and less on the parasympathetic, right? So it would look like this. That's what it would look like on the graph. Now, many people come in wondering why they're not healthy or healing, and they'll be over here, and sometimes they'll look like this. That's what's called double blocked regulation. There's nothing at all happening with their autonomic nervous system. So if that's not happening, how is their body going to heal? There may be other examples where the person is lying down and they stand up and it goes up on this scale. Well, it's moving on the sympathetic, but it's not moving at all on the parasympathetic. Again, these people are not healing. They're -3 on healing. Sometimes there's a little confusion in the nervous system, and you'll see the opposite, where when they're standing up or lying down, they're here, and then when they stand up, they go the opposite. This is called switched regulation. The nervous system is completely confused. It doesn't even know how to operate right. The way I explain this to people is if you had blocked regulation, you're standing in the street and the bus is coming at you. The normal response would be to jump out of the way. With blocked regulation, you're like a deer in headlight, getting hit by the bus. Switched regulation, which is very confused, you're now standing on the sidewalk and the bus is coming, and guess what you do? You jump into the street. It's completely confused, so the body doesn't know how to react properly. So if we're talking about trying to stay in a homeostatic state, how can that happen when your body doesn't have your system working right to organize how the endocrine system is supposed to work and how the nervous system is to work? It can't. And that's why a detox is helpful, just to be able to get rid of some of those toxins. That gets rid of the barriers. Unfortunately, because a person's had it for a very long time, they usually have a tremendous amount of deficiencies too in their certain organs that have been stressed out for such a long time. Anyway, thanks guys. If you're interested in learning more about how to maintain an active lifestyle as you get older, please subscribe so you can get notifications. Thanks.